The game of the year for 2026 is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That's right, you heard it here first. Reviews are in. We're going to break everything down about this game. There will be no spoilers other than playing the first 20 minutes of the actual game. You'll be watching that footage in the background. Thank you for tuning in. Mad Gamer here. I have a channel dedicated to Metal Gear, so you definitely want to check that out in the description. But you can also like, subscribe, and comment if this is informative for you. If you're new to the series and hey, I never played that before, we're going to definitely go deep into what to expect. But then I also want to talk to those who are returning, because this review is actually a remake. I've never said a remake should get Game of the Year, but pretty much certain that this one right here is a candidate. So this game originally was a masterpiece when it was made, and I'll explain why. You're looking at Snake just kind of crawling through the mud, and it looks a little silly. You're going through the jungle, and this game was a PS2 game when it originally released. But all this that you're seeing is exactly the same as it was in the original. Only difference is the graphics, the modern day controls, and some animations have changed, but the structure of the levels, the overall general experience with the cutscenes, as far as the way they cinematically play out, is identical. Voice acting is identical. You're getting the original story, and you wonder, why would I play this? Well, visuals are enhanced, animations are crisper, the overall gameplay is improved because of the new mechanics and systems that they've added. So it does change this game a bit, but it keeps the core of what makes the game great and what made it a masterpiece. So taking a masterpiece and enhancing it has to be a Game of the Year, in my opinion. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the story just to kind of give you guys a brief explanation if you're new. You're playing as Naked Snake, aka he becomes Big Boss. And basically you're sent into the jungle to do a bunch of things to stop a Metal Gear, which is a nuclear weapon, and rescue some things, and just overall having to take out certain people. During that time, you're sent on this stealth run here, and you're giving the freedom to approach and do things as you please. And if you're a good player, you won't play like this guy and be hiding for half an hour. And if you're a bad player, you'll play like this. But that being said, you're capable of going run and gun if you feel like it. It's a challenge. Or you can do a lot of creative things, stealthy. The cool part about this game is that it has so many amazing details. I'm talking about small, minor things that are very interesting, fun, and innovative. Even to this day, there are things in here that other games just don't do. And when this originally got released, it inspired so many games to take the things that this does well. And so you're going to play this and say, wow, what an experience gameplay wise. But story is so powerful and amazing. Good way to get into the series, because it's the chronological beginning of the series. And it's also a story in its own. You don't have to worry about, do I understand Metal Gear? Because trust me, I understand for many series, you don't want to waste the time or energy to have to go through the process of learning the lore. This game is the introduction, and that's what makes it even better. And if you're watching here, there's a little bit of stealth, and you pace yourself through areas. The challenge is to be stealthy if you want, but you can also, like I said, just have some fun and run and gun it. With all that in mind, I want to get into the review portion and go into detail. Okay. As I said before, one of the biggest things that people might say negative is that it is a one-to-one recreation when it comes to level design, audio, cinematics. You know, of course, there's extremely enhanced 4K 60 frames per second, but it's still a 1-to-1. And so some reviewers try to act like that's a negative. And in my view, it's a positive. Why would you want to destroy a masterpiece by changing it? And maybe it could have turned out well, but this is exactly what it needed to be. A masterpiece redone and enhanced. You saw right there, you shoot down a beehive, it makes the enemies disappear, and you're good to go. These are the kind of things that are silly and like, wow, I didn't notice that. These are choices that you can make. Have fun with the game. And those are the kind of things that make it very unique in its own way. And that's where I want to kind of talk about your experience with the performance, because I do believe that would be a factor for most people. On the PlayStation 5 base one, you can get 60 frames with performance mode, or you can go to quality mode and get 30 frames. When you're in 60 frames, you get 1080p. And then when you're on the quality, you're going to get 4K. These are the current available modes, even for PlayStation 5 Pro. And that's the one that we tested the most as far as the reviewers. And the information says that it goes from 30 to 40 at times when there's a lot of friction, explosions, enemies, but it's targeted at 60. And now if you're on PC, we did not get a lot of information about that other than it is reaching those numbers as well. But again, going up and down, fluctuating at times to 50 or higher than 60. So that's the rating. I do think the game looks amazing and it's very well made and it's so dramatic compared to the previous one. But if you're a new player, you're probably like, hey, this looks like modern day graphics. Looks cool. It is. And the game has so many great emotional elements, some funny things, some wild boss fights, and the visuals just enhance that. I've gotten to see pretty much every single boss fight and every single segment that's necessary with cutscenes. And I've definitely can tell you visually, it is going to be extremely inspiring for those who are new. And if you're returning, you'll be like, wow, what an amazing upgrade. The truth is that this is most likely going to be a must play as far as if you want to play this game for the first time or you want to revisit this game, this would be the new modern way to play. If you're one of those traditionalists and hardcore, stay true to the roots, there's always the originals. Have the Master Volume 1 if you really, really need it. Personally, I will be playing this multiple times and seeing what it feels like, and then I'll go back and try the old one. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to stay with this one. And as far as why I say this is Game of the Year, the original was a masterpiece. I do believe that they nail it, keeping true to pretty much everything that they can. There's people who might tell you, oh, it's outdated. Well, that's what a remake's for, is to bring back a classic. That's what we got. So I'm grateful. I'm excited. I'm going to be playing this. I do have my second channel for Metal Gear doing reviews, breakdowns, and deep dives into it that I will gladly have you guys covered for. And speaking of covering, I just want to take a brief second to talk about this brand new game mode. This mode right here is the multiplayer that's coming later on. It is basically the last team surviving wins the survival mode that they have on this. Can't tell you that it's a battle royale or an extraction shooter, but it feels something in that vein if only the last team survives. Basically, you're playing as a candidate for the Fox unit and you'll get sent on simulated situations where you're recapturing documentations and enemies, and you're using stealth Metal Gear original sneaking style elements that you're watching in the background. and you'll be able to grab that Kurigan against other players. You have to find your items on the ground, guys. So all the items are actually non-accessible, so it's going to be on the floor. So it does have some battle royale, some extraction style of experience. So you can go ahead and try that in the fall. You have the full game. And I want to kind of get into other modes and things that you can expect as well. There's the snake versus monkeys, snake versus Bomberman. It's basically just an extra mode to capture a bunch of very cool things in the game and end up having some more fun with it. They also have in-game things where new collectibles that you can find throughout the world, as well as things you can get from enemies. I'm not going to spoil none of that. I want you to discover it on your own. This is the most non-spoiler free breakdown. I've used over 60 people who definitely have reviewed this and giving you the key information for this review here. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and check out my Metal Gear channel if you want more. We're going to be covering this game extensively. Appreciate your time, your energy. See you on the next one. Peace.